Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get kicked off here. We have our Week 1 action for Corporate Esports Association Spring 2020 Starcraft 2. A match between Red Hatlings and eagleviewSC2. We'll be kicking off in just a few minutes. We're actually already in the lobby, about to get started. In the meanwhile, though, just to introduce everybody, I am Eagle Searcher from SCTuesdays. We'll be casting all of the Red Hatlings matches this season. Every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Be sure to come back in and join us. We'd be happy to have you, bringing you lots of great StarCraft action. This is a amateur league, but professional people. So people from your well-known and less well-known companies all across the world will be competing for charity, playing games they enjoy. So having some fun, playing some StarCraft. At the end of the day, at the end of the season, we'll have a short playoff, and the winner will deliver the purse to their charity. All kinds of different levels of StarCraft players here, everybody from bronze all the way up to diamond masters and so on. We do tend to see a mix of skill levels, a mix of games, and a lot of different, just a different fun StarCraft. A little bit different style than you see in the professional tournaments, but at the end of the day, we're all going to have fun here. So, still getting set up. Just a few more minutes, and we will bring it in when we are ready. We'll take a look at the maps for today. We're going to have best of 5. Fifth one is for tie breaks only. First, we're going to have Simulacrum, World of Sleepers, Nightshade, and Eternal Empire with the tiebreaker ace match on Triton. We do have, for the first 4 maps, the lineups are set. The teams did need to submit lineups several days ago, determine who's going to be playing who, and declare races. So it's a very fair tournament, gives every team a chance to scout out their opponent, sort of try to see if they can't find some replays off the various sites, try to get some scouting information, find out what their opponent's builds are, or just show up and play StarCraft, just play a regular game. One thing that we have noticed in previous seasons is a lot of people play in really standard StarCraft. It's a very common, very straightforward thing to do, and people want to win. So we'll be starting off here in a few minutes on Simulacrum between Red Hat and Eagleview. It looks like for Red Hat, we're going to have a Zerg Cyril with a diamond border there, and Maptar, a Terran from Eagleview. Looks like he has a platinum border. So, for now, just sit back, enjoy the music, and we'll get this game started off very shortly. And there's the countdown timer. That means the game's about to begin. Our first match of Week 1, Spring 2020, Corporate Esports Association, StarCraft 2, between the Red Hatlings and eagleviewSC2 here on Simulacrum. We're going to open up with a ZVT. So starting up here in the upper left corner from the Red Hatlings, in green we have Cyril. A little bit of good manner coming out to open the game. In the lower right, wearing the red shorts, we have our Terran from Eagleview, Maptar. Very straightforward opening so far. Maptar going ahead and getting that supply depot down at the ramp. You're going to want to go ahead and get that wall off. Keep the Zerg out of his base if you can manage it. On the other side, Cyril starting to get that scouting overload, moving across the map. You can see what he can see. Try to scout out that Terran build, find out what he's going to be up against. Looks like you do have the drone coming down for Cyril. We're going to go ahead and put down that first hatch. Very standard build from our Zerg here. 16 hatch. About to drop his spawning pool very shortly. as soon as he gets the money for it. We'll take a look and see what our Terran is doing, getting that barracks up. Very standard opener. Again, very standard game. No cheese out of this. Both players wanted to play just a nice, clean, straightforward game to open up our season here. And as a quick reminder, this is the Corporate Esports Association. Professional workers, amateur gamers playing for charity. At the end of our season, we'll have a playoff, and the winners at the end of the day will take home all the money and give it to charity. But that's for later in the season. For now, we have some Starcraft action. Maptar going ahead and getting that expansion down on the low ground and getting the Reaper out. Probably wants to get some scouting information. He's going to go ahead and start moving towards the Zerg's base. Meanwhile, in the Zerg base, you have a handful of Zerglings popping out. The spawning pool just finished. One gas. Not a terribly aggressive build from our Zerg. He's getting his overlords out, getting good scouting information. Reaper moving across the map. Let's see what kind of information he can get. Maybe do a little bit of damage. The Lings are there, ready to shut him down though. Is going to go ahead and move into the main though. He's going to see everything that Cyril is doing. Drop that concussion grenade in the mineral line. Gets one worker. Not a good start for our Zerg. Reaper going to continue to heal up a little bit, but getting a good surround with those Lings. Going to chase them out now. Looks like he's just going to take his victory and leave. That Queen so close. It's going to get him off the creep though it's going to outrun those Lings. Does see the third base though. That's a very good scout from our Terran. It's going to see a very economic focused Zerg. We'll see if he decides to punish it or if he wants to go ahead and try to drop an extra command center himself. Is getting the double Hellion with the reactor factory, as well as building the starport. So going straight up the chain into tech, 111. As Metabot, you see Metabot boost about to finish for our Zerg. It's going to be a big help. Getting surrounds on these units, chasing down the Reapers, chasing down the Hellions. Of course, those Hellions, all that splash damage are very good against Zerglings. Bit of a slow start here. We do see Maptar putting the tech lab on the starport. We'll see what he wants to build out of that. I've seen a lot of Banshees coming out in the professional scene, but also maybe just wants to go into a BC opener. Sort of an old classic. In fact, there it is now, the Fusion Core halfway done. He's going to see if he can't get that BC. He's going to get a Viking out while he's waiting for the Fusion Core to finish. Just give him a little bit of extra air power, a little bit of extra there. I did miss that Hellion. Try to run by on third base with that Reaper. See if he can't do just a little bit more poke damage with that. That Baneling Nest just about to finish, maybe 3/4 of the way done for Cyril. Those Baneling is going to be really effective against all these light units if he can engage them on creep. Battlecruiser just now beginning for Maptar now with his armory as well, so going to be looking to get those upgrades going, get some real beefy cattle bruisers out on the map and just hold down the fort. Meanwhile, Hellions are moving in. They snag a creep tumor. The Lings come in though. Lots of fire on those Lings, but catch one Hellion, another Hellion goes down. The rest decide to cut their losses and leave. No damage really taken. Cyril doing a really good job defending. Has 3 queens wandering the map. He's going to be able to use these queens, get good creep spread, as well as defend against all those sort of light run-bys. Continuing to build more Lings though, droning very hard. 12 drones in production for Cyril. Doesn't feel threatened at all right now, and understandably so. Just a handful of Hellions knocking on his door. Does have the Overlord here in the perch, giving him a good view of everything coming out to the front door of the Terran. Just sees those Hellions rolling out. As they do. But now we see the battlecruiser jumping into the back of the base. All the queens are on top of it though. Cyril on point with his creep spread. Does get one of those queens, roasting a lot of Zerglings as well, just getting all that splash damage from those Hellions. Queens are trying to deal with this battlecruiser, making really good use of the void area back here. I don't think those queens are going to be able to reach him. Meanwhile, the Hellions move in, start roasting drones. 6 drones down dead. Battlecruiser going to move back in and see what kind of damage he can do. Just continuing to chase these units all over his base. Cyril taking a lot of losses, 7 workers, but still slightly ahead, up 50 to 45 in the worker count. Supplies are very even, but now continuing to take more losses as that battlecruiser moves into the main line. Yamato cannon about 8 seconds from finishing. It's going to help him take out those spores and queens. But Cyril just has so many queens, just a queen army. It's going to be able to swat this battlecruiser away. We'll see if they'll be able to finish. The teleport is on cooldown and jumps out successfully. He's going to want to get the boys on that repairing awfully quickly. Very effective aggression from Maptar, keeping the game very even. Does have that Viking scouted out the Overlord, wants to drive him out of his pervy position there as he gets the third base started. Maptar has to be feeling pretty good about his situation. Did a lot of damage to the Zerg. It's got a pretty sizable, scary army. But we will see what Cyril decides to transition into. Appears to be staying on the melee path, getting the 1-1 for his Zerglings, as well as Trivical Hooks. Looks like we're going to see a Lingbane composition here. That Spire is finished, getting +1 attack going for the Mutas, so Lingbane, he's actually opting to start with the Corruptors. The Corruptors are a fantastic choice against the Battlecruisers. Just going to shut them down so hard. 2 Battlecruisers on the map right now. Jump is just about on cooldown for both of them as they appear to be moving forward and want to take another fight. 2 Cyclones mixed in with those Hellions now. The Cyclone's going to do a whole lot of damage in a burst with that lock-on. Just going to tear through those teams. Using that scan just to try to contain the creep spread a little bit. That creep spread really critical for sort of clean heavy army right now from Cyril. But those Corruptors will make short work of that Battlecruiser when they pop out. Battlecruiser Yamato goes off, 1 Corruptor down, but the rest of the Corruptors showing up to the party, it's only a matter of time. Jump on cooldown for both of these Battlecruisers, so they'll easily be able to get home and get paired up. And the Cyclones getting good lock-ons on those Corruptors, just doing terrible damage. Continuing to scan, continuing to clear the creep tumors. Lings coming in for another surround. 1-1 almost finished. Just an anti-timing from our Terran. Just attacking, right, killing the Zerg army before they're able to get that critical upgrade. Battlecruiser has to jump out, running low on health there, but Lings coming in now, getting the surround on the remaining mech forces. Going to chase down this last Cyclone, and with that, he's cleaned up. Still very even back and forth game so far between our 2 players. Looks like a small run by. Just for a handful of Zerglings trying to take down this third of our Terran. Doing a lot of damage, but those Hellions with the blue flame really tearing those Zerglings apart. Decides to disengage. That'll let PF to finish. That would be a really strong defensive point for our Terran here as the game continues to go later. Our Zerg continuing to mass up Zerglings, just so many Zerglings, as well as Banelings on the field. Continuing to build Queens. Doesn't look like he's necessarily got the same number he had before, but he's going to catch these handful of Hellions and possibly, with the Zerglings, get this around and shut them down. Getting a lot of Zergling kills, though. Not the most efficient trade. Does want to save those Banelings. Don't really want to waste them on single Hellions. Creep spread continuing. Terran going ahead and taking this kind of cheeky base up here in the upper right. Not necessarily the first base or fourth base you would take. Probably hopes to keep it hidden a little bit. Normally you'd see the Terran move into this position next, as you can see, starting that CC right now. Probably wants to turn that into a PF down the road. But another large, scary attack coming in from our Terran. Lots of battle cruisers, supported by those Cyclones and Hellions. Just a kind of a scary, beefy army, but the Zerg macro is starting to kick in, and you know, Cyril taking the supply lead, both workers and army. So does lose a couple of Cyclones for free. Not the best, not necessarily the best use of those Corruptors. Is going to want to build them back. Does have a few Hydras in the mix now, continuing to support them with the Queens. And Hive now started. Looks like Cyril's ready to go into the late game. Really wants to get that late game transition, get those high-powered units, really sort of take control of this match. Moving out on the map for probably the first time with his whole army. Does get some connections on those Hellbats. It's a very expensive trade there. Those Hellbats fairly cheap in comparison to all those Banes, all that gas just thrown away. Really, the Zerg army out of position here. Got this around, killed most of the ground army. Those 4 BCs are going to be able to do a lot of damage. Getting the lock-ons on the Queens, just a handful of Lings out. That's all that's here to stop those Cyclones. But now the Hydra's moving in with the Queens, going to start chewing down these battle cruisers. Does lose the hatch. He's going to go ahead and rebuild it. Pretty confident about his ability to make a stand here. Gonna get, nope, doesn't quite get the BC, jumps home just in time. Maptar doing a really good job of making sure to save his BCs. These BCs are big, expensive units, take a lot of time to build. If you can save them, that is your best bet. However, he knows he got a pretty good trade on that engagement. Killed a lot of the Zerg army, kept his battlecruisers alive, and once again, supplies very even. Even army, slight worker advantage for Cyril, but 5 base now for the Terran. Not the position that the Zerg wants to be in. Zerg always wants to be a base ahead. Is running around. I don't think he got vision on that PF. He's going to run in to the original third here. Zerglings get chewed up by the PF, just with the large planetary cannon just annihilating them. Well, starting to build up a very sizable Corruptor force. Going to start shutting down those BCs. Just going to continue to be less effective. Looks like Cyril just wants to continue with this Ling Bling Corruptor. Not sure what his endgame move here. Just going to pretty much survive until the Terran runs out of money, I think. But if that's the case, the Terran now sitting on 5 base, he might just surprise him. Vehicle plating finishing level 3. It's going to make those BCs and mech very hard to kill. Gets a lot of juicy creep tumors, all those very fresh, ready to be spread. Gets a lot of lock-ons. Where is the army? Corruptors coming in. They're going to find the BCs. 1 BC down, 2nd BC down. A handful of Yamatos go out, but overall a pretty good trade for Cyril. Knocks Maptar way down in supply. While maintaining his own army supply. That's the engagement he's been looking for a while. Now he's going to move over with these Corruptors. Let's see if he can't get a snipe on this PF. Going to do the Bile Puke as the SCVs come in for a mass repair. That's just so much cascading damage, and it explodes. Cyclones are going to move in, try to get a lock on a couple of these Corruptors. Just doing terrible damage. Corruptors do have a lot of armor, but that lock-on is a spell ability, and therefore it doesn't. It ignores the armor. Did do some damage to that PF before the repair started. Isn't quite going to be enough, though. Cyclone's just chasing these Corruptors across the map. Going to get found by the Hydras. Hydra's going to try to take out what they can. BC's here ready to reinforce. A sizable BC force. Of course, Maptar is doing very good about protecting them. Get some good Yamatos off. He's going to want to be very efficient with that army. BCs take a while to build. Does fly back to his queens. He'd probably try to get a transfuser too if he wanted to. Moment of lag there. Not sure what server we're playing on. East Coast, West Coast. I understand that EagleView is a West Coast company. They are on PST. Red Hat, of course, is East Coast, based here in North Carolina. Cyril there, a little bit exception to the room, our EU player, so could be a little bit of lag as we cross the pond there, but Cyclones get a couple of kills on the Corruptors, but the Zerglings coming in, trying to get that surround, and they might just do it. Going to catch these Cyclones, 4 Cyclones in the graves. Does lose quite a few Zerglings, but they're basically expendable at this point. With a scary amount of battlecruisers starting to build up. I'd like to see Cyril be a little bit more aggressive, try to shut down some of this Terran mining. Terran now on 6 base. Handful of changelings just trying to, you know, blend in, be one of the boys, hang out. We'll see if he can get the cancel as the BCs move in. Gets the cancel, but he will clean up the Lings, but that was just a diversionary tactic. The Corruptors are in here puking again. It's like a bad Monday after a wild Sunday as they get that PF down. Clears the PF. Oh, those Banelings. So many Banelings. Get some solid connections on those workers. Nearly every worker shut down. Has to cancel all those turrets, but now countering again. Our Terran Cyclones moving in on our side base for the Zerg. Does the lock-on. Is able to take that hatchery down so quickly. Just a small engagement here in the center. It looks like the Zerg was able to swat it back. Cyclones are going to want to leave now as the main Zerg army comes and engages. Sitting there on the creep, it's going to be so easy for the Zerg army to catch up. So, very back and forth game so far. Just trading bases back and forth. The Zerg losing a base and then turning around, attacking into the Terran. Just a wild game. Zerg with the main Hydra Force moving in. Sees the lower base hasn't been rebuilt. Is going to go ahead and try to snipe that PF. Repairs are going down. Not enough. PF does a lot of damage to those Hydras, though. All that splash damage. They ship weapons 2 finishes, so those BCs just getting scarier and scarier. Of course, Cyril not slouching on his upgrades either. 3-3 on his Lings, and ranged weapons 1 with air weapons 2. A lot of upgrading going on. This Hydra's not going to be enough to shut down these BCs. Those BCs are beefy. 2-3 is going to move in now. Going to try to continue to knock down that Zerg economy. Zerg economy looking very good. Has a roughly a 25% benefit over the Terran right now, and those Vipers are going to change the game here. They do get the shot on the BCs. BCs jump out immediately though, not willing to deal with it. We do see a little bit of tech switch now from our Terran, moving into a handful of Thors. Those Thors are going to be very effective at shutting down the Corruptors. Just big, beefy units. He's going to be able to move out and be very effective with. Not the best against this particular comp, against the Ling Bling. Those Lings tend to be able to get good surrounds on the Thors. Cyril deciding to stick with the Ling composition deep in the late game. Chews up a couple of refineries as he is establishing his own base back up here at the top. He's going to see the Cyclone Kill Squad once again impinging on the creep. Gets the lock-ons on the hatchery, and that hatchery just goes down so quick. That lock-on just does so much damage. Handful of Lings here. Looks like they're going to get a good surround. Krauts may be able to take out all of these, but the Corruptors are here for the battlecruisers. 1 battlecruiser down, 2. Starting to get some trades. Another battlecruiser going down, but the Corruptor numbers also starting to thin. That Thor in the back is just doing so much damage in that high-impact payload mode. And the BCs continue to move forward. Did bring a couple boys with him for field repairs. And that's just so much damage coming out. There's the GG. apparently decided he's had about enough. So our first game goes to Eagleview. A good game at that. Very back and forth. Just you know, Terran staying alive. Just Zerg game a little bit, sat back a little bit too passive, and gave him a chance to just bulk up. Maptar did a really good job of keeping his BCs alive. First and foremost, allowed him to build up those big numbers. Even though he sort of threw away a lot of his mech army, threw away a lot of Hellions, threw away a lot of Cyclones, still able to get a lot of damage, getting the snipes on the hatches while keeping his own economy at home. Very strong. So we'll take a short break right here. As we wait to set up our next match. It's going to be on World of Sleepers, here between Red Hatlings and eagleviewSC2. All right, folks, and we're back. Soon, we're going to see our match number 2 here in Week 1, CEA Spring 2020, between the Red Hatlings and eagleviewSC2. Looks like we're going to have another ZBT Zip, a Zerg from Red Hat, and Mannard, a Terran from Eagleview. We'll be working on World of Sleepers LE, our second map of this series. Possibly having a few technical difficulties in the lobby here, but we're about ready to get started. Between these two teams do have a little bit of a history. The last time we saw the Red Hatlings in the regular season, it was actually against Eagleview in the Spring 2019 playoffs. In round 1, Red Hat was triumphant against Eagleview 4-2 in that best of 7. Of course, Red Hat would go on to lose in round 2 against Lua Alpha Stars, our eventual 3rd place champions. This is the only time these two have faced each other, but plenty of more teams in CEA in the league for folks to match up against. Lots of different teams, lots of different skill levels, lots of different charities that we're playing for. And of course, lots of fun to be had. Plenty more great games, just like the one we just had, are coming up. So, as we continue to wait on our lobby here, just going to take another real quick break, and we will be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we're finally just about ready. One of our players was having a little bit of trouble connecting to the lobby. With that countdown timer, though, we are going into map number 2 here between Red Hat and Eagleview. Our two players, Zip and Maynard. Two very highly ranked players. Zip, a Diamond 2, Maynard, a Diamond 1, 4200 MMR, pretty good overall, I'd have to say. And the game is underway. Starting in the lower left corner, in the red shorts for Red Hatlings, we have Zip. And in the upper right corner, sporting purple this time around, for Eagleview, we have Maynard playing Terran. So yet another ZVT. Of course, Red Hat known for all of their Zergs. A very Zerg-heavy team, as you would expect, maybe with a team called the Hatlings. Eagleview, maybe Terran favored. They do have two of their better Terrans coming out early in this series. We do have some variation coming later in this series. They're not all ZVTs. Our next match will be a ZVT, but reversed. Map number 3 there is going to be a Red Hat Terran versus a Zerg from Eagleview. And then our fourth scheduled match will be a TBT between our Terran on Red Hat and a Terran on Eagleview. It's another very standard opener so far. Maynard getting his barracks down, opting for the single refinery. Maybe looking at another Reaper opening, getting that scouting information, find out what his opponent's doing. Zip opting to get his spawning pool, as well as the hatchery. Getting underway. Overlords continuing to move across the map, trying to get that vital scouting information. Reaper is on the way for Maynard. Very common opening from Terran these days. Just gives you a lot of map control, a lot of vision. Just able to move in. If you're lucky, maybe even get a little harassment down. Try to get some, throw your opponent off balance. Handful of Lings and Queens coming out from Zip now, so we'll see if this plays out very similarly to the last game. So far, not much deviation. Does have that CC started very early, though, along with the factory. Second gas now going up, so it looks like he's ready to transition into the next, out of the sort of cheese stage into sort of standard Starcraft. Reaper now getting in. Does take out a Ling, but not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage. That Queen there, easily going to be able to run him off. Stands out in front. You shall not pass there, Reaper. Reaper's going to look for a backdoor entrance, though, and he's going to find it. Sort of easy route right into the main. Popping up, but another Queen there, also ready to defend the people against those dreaded Reapers. Don't fear the Reaper, man. Ling's starting to move out. Once that speed is finished, he'll be able to shut down that Reaper threat once and for all. Overlord moving into position on his perch up there. Going to be able to get all the view without being seen. Just sort of spying on that second base there. Overlords, the true pervs of SC2. Does possibly see the... Nope, the two Hellions have not moved into his vision yet. So he'll be surprised, possibly, but not. This is a very standard opener. Tech Lab now going down, as well as a Fusion Core. Another BC opener. Marine patrolling the back just in case an Overlord comes in for a scout. This is exactly the same build, opting for that Viking first before the BC, just taking advantage of that idle starport, as well as those Hellions moving across the map. 4 Hellions plus the Reaper, very identical to the last game. We'll see if Zip can provide some deviation, perhaps. Queen about to pop out, but not going to be out in time to stop this. Of course, no drones here to kill. Lings are going to come out and try to get this round. Baneling Nest now going down for Zip as he reacts to see his opponent. He's a very similar build. Lots of queens, though, being built. Looks like he's going to opt for the same sort of strategy that Cyril did. We'll see if Zip is able to maybe turn the tide a little bit, change the outcome of that last game. Battlecruiser now started for our Terran as the Overlord with speed starts scouting through the base. He's just going to see everything. This is notably something Cyril didn't do in his last game, so is going to know he's up against the VCs and opting to start a bunch of Spore Crawlers as well as his lair. So the Viking's going to take down an Overlord, but Zip with the foresight to know that he needed more and isn't supply blocked. Those speed Overlords able to move so fast around the map, just able to get so much vision. You see all these really sort of unique, tight locations the Overlords can just hang out and sit in without having to worry about taking any damage. Lings do get a good surround, able to clean up most of those Hellions. Just one Hellion running for his life, just trying to get out of here with that one Zergling chasing behind him. Hellion does stop to burn him, but Lings now get into the base. The gate down. They're just so much just able to flood in. Gonna start killing so many workers. 5 workers now down. That battlecruiser's trying to clean it up. He really wants to be across the map doing damage to that battlecruiser, but it's stuck at home. 6 workers going down. Very effective. Just putting on the pressure. Something Zerg really wants to do here. Keep the Terran on his back foot. Don't let him get comfortable. However, Terran already moving up 2-3 base, while Zip, that's not a base, that's just a massive Zerglings, is still only on 3 himself. So even bases between our Zerg and our Terran, not the position that the Zerg wants to be in, but it looks like we're going to have some really aggressive play now coming out with the Nidus being built. The Nidus network in kind of a cheeky location. The Ling run by, continuing to do a lot of damage. This is one of the things that can be very effective for Zerg. Killing 11 workers. Battlecruiser is going to try to chase those Lings out. Can't afford to leave home and has to stay at home and defend with those units not able to be across the map and aggressive. Nidus Workman's finished. We'll see if he decides to take advantage of it. Centrifugal Hook's almost done, so that Baneling speed, those Banelings rolling out of the Nidus, and with the ping on the map, there it is, the Nidus now being built. We'll see what he decides to do with this. He is loading it up with queens. It's going to be very aggressive. You do see the scan coming down from the Terran. Scans directly on top of that Nidus. This is a lucky scan. Either that or knew what it was coming. Just really good awareness from our Terran. As those queens start moving across, you're going to see the Lings starting to float out. They're going to knock down this wall very easily. And these battlecruisers out of position just can't get back fast enough. Doesn't want to waste the jump, but is going to lose all these depots in the meanwhile. So many queens, just you know, they're going to be able to stop this these battlecruisers. 3 battlecruisers only for the Terran, and those Yamatos. The Yamatos very effective against the queens, able to one-shot them. If he can continue to kite them without taking a lot of damage. Queens off creep, not going to be able to run away from the Cyclone. Does need to get in there with the Lings to try to shut it down. And those DCs just continuing to strafe back and forth, doing lots of damage on those Lings. But the Lings go in for another run by against the workers. 12 workers, 13, 17 workers, 19. So much damage. Queens do creep forward just enough to get vision for that Nidus to come down. That Nidus is going to be frightening. Creep now starting to move forward. Creep into Terran base, not preferable. Makes it real hard to build buildings, but does see the Nidus before it pops and is able to shut it down without much difficulty. He's going to start knocking down those tumors. Wants to make sure that creep does not make it into his base, as well as shut down the other Nidus exit. Zip just being so aggressive with these Niduses. So many Niduses coming out. Just chaining them one after another. Trying to get the Nidus drill going. Even if he's not doing the most damage, there's a certain psychological impact to it. Just to hear the Niduses and to wonder, is that in my base? There's a handful of Lings out there scouting are shut down, but looks like this could have been a just a scouting Nidus. Two Hellions do pick it up though. Matter's doing a very good job of maintaining map presence, just seeing where everything is. These BCs getting in and killing off a lot of overlords. Just able to shut down a lot of the vision that Zip has. More Lings continuing to run across the map. He does have a couple of siege tanks now. This is not going to be good for those Lings. A little bit of a deviation here. You didn't see our Terran in the last map. Maptar didn't really reinforce with tanks. Just wanted to build more and more Cyclones. And excuse me though, we have a battle going on as the battle cruisers have finally decided to move in. Now parked over the main. Nothing here to stop them. The Spore Crawler's doing what they can, but not before they pop. One Valiant Queen here gonna try her hardest to try to stop them, but 17, 19 drones down. The carnage is not stopping. The Queens have finally arrived to try to clean this up, but these BCs are gonna be able to jump out. No harm, no foul, but lots of harm done to the Zerg, and that puts the Zerg way behind. Zerg on 5 base, but at 25 workers. Not a very good worker count. He's going to need to beef that back up. Of course, beefing that up means that's Larva not going into the army. The big debate for the Zerg, of course. He's going to load back up in the Nidus. We'll see. Here's an Overlord moving across now. It looks like he might be trying to get some vision. Maybe park directly in this dead area off to the Terran. Terran does have vision though, so he won't be able to get it. Yep. We'll see if Matter can react to this. Tanks are moving across the map. That's a scary amount of tanks now. Knocking these rocks down. Not reacting to the Nidus though. It looks like that Nidus is going to get off, and he's going to get in some free damage. The BCs are moving across, but nothing coming out of Nidus. It seems that he decided to actually keep his army at home and try to deal with this tank push. So many tanks there, so scary to deal with. There's so much splash damage coming out. It's going to be very difficult. Spire dropping now for Zip. He will be able to move into that Muta Corruptor type of production. Starting to catch up on workers, but Manor doing a very good job with his own economy. Still up 20 workers and 30 supply. Manor commanding lead in this game. In a frightening position with his tank. Sieged up and not much. Just doesn't have much to do with it. Does make a really heavy push to try to clean up this line a little bit, but takes heavy losses in the process. Queens have to pull back. Can't deal with that much splash damage coming out. Cyclone going to chip away at the egg. One missile at a time. Remaining tanks going to continue to advance forward. See if they can't get a slightly more at their previous position there. Now we have the Zerglings running across the top of the map. Going to see a few tanks left at home. But enough to get into that mineral line. They will start to kill those workers. It's going to be a lot of workers taken down. As the main army for Manor does reinforce now, those tanks will be able to do this very quickly. Another Nidus. Zip just being so aggressive with these Niduses. now getting to be a little on the desperate side, so far behind. Maynard needs a miracle play, needs to do some real heavy damage. And the BCs are right on top of it. Very impressive map awareness from Maynard. Just playing like a high diamond player. Just very good game sense. And they're going to continue to move across. Looks like they may be looking to take down, to reinforce these tanks. This heavy tank position Zerg has not been able to break. Handful of mutas here now starting to take them out, but the BCs have arrived and are going to allow their buddies on the ground some safety. Continuing to expand here, now taking the top base on the side here, but if you can't take out that Zerg or the Terran army, it's just so frightening. So much power in there between the siege tanks and the battle cruisers, able to back each other up. And zip. Not a whole lot you can do to deal with it. Just trying to get out a handful of mutas, but it's probably not going to be enough. Almost twice the supply now for Maynard. 199 to 98. Continuing to help the workers. Mutas trying to squeeze in, get a few cheeky kills, but the DCs in the backup take them down pretty easily. This is looking pretty rough for our Red Hat. And there's the GG victory for Eagle View. So, game number 2 now in the books. Eagle View taking a commanding 2-0 lead in this series, able to win our first 2 maps on Simulacrum and World of Sleepers. 2 very good games. We see the Terrans from Eagle View opening with the BC openers, going into some very heavy mech play. Our Zergs from Red Hat deciding to stick with the very basic units, heavy Ling type of composition. Our first game, Cyril opting for the Ling Bane with Corruptors. Our second game, not going quite as deep. Zip taking the primarily Lings with a Nidus Worm, trying to get those queens out on the map to shut down those BCs. Just wasn't able to do the amount of damage. Maynard's so sharp with his map awareness, knowing where those Niduses were going to be, able to move around so efficiently with those battle cruisers. So we'll be moving into game number 3 here shortly. We'll be featured on Nightshade LE. And for the first time, it will still be a ZVT, but the roles will be reversed. We'll see if our Terran from Red Hat, Nitrous, is able to take down Lumery, a Zerg from Eagle View. And as we get the lobby set up, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Sit back, enjoy the music. More StarCraft to come. we're back. Lobby in the final stages of getting set up. Just having a few technical issues with our lobbies today. Sorry for the delay. Normally we try to run through these a little bit quicker. We'll be going into game number 3. Red Hatlings versus eagleviewSC2. And with eagleview up 2-0, Red Hat is in a bind here. With one more win, eagleview will take the series. So Red Hat hoping for a comeback, hoping that comes on the back of their Terrans. Countdown has started. We'll be moving into the game here on Nightshade. Featuring Nitrous Terran from Red Hat and Lumery, a Zerg from eagleview. So, starting up here in the upper left corner for Red Hat, sporting the red trunks, it is Nitrous. And in the lower right of Nightshade, our Zerg from eagleview, it's Lumery. So, we'll see if there's a deviation. Our first two maps, very close, very similar builds. Terrans from eagleview taking very similar openers. We'll see if the Red Hat Terran decides to take a page out of their book, as well as Lumery. We'll see if the Zerg also decides to flip and take a page, sticking with the sort of low-tier army. No cheese. Very standard opener right now so far for both teams. Barracks going down with single gas. Single gas, probably opting for a Reaper opening. Very common, of course. Quick hatch. Gas before pool. Just allow him to get that tech out just a little bit faster. Get that speed started. Overlord moving across the map. Gonna see what he can see. Of course, if you're just now joining us, once again, we are watching the Corporate Esports Association 2020 Spring Starcraft 2 League. And this is week number 1 between our teams, Red Hatlings and eagleviewSC2, professional workers, amateur players, all competing for charity. At the end of the season, at the end of the playoffs, we will see purse go to the winning team's charity of choice. So, Nitrous getting his expansion down as expected. Also dropping the factory. Very similar builds again. Very standard looking Terran. First handful of Lings coming out for our Zerg. Still only on 1 gas. Doesn't need a whole lot of gas if he wants to build all those Zerglings. Of course, going into this game, neither player had a colored border. Just indicates that they are not currently placed for the current StarCraft ladder season. Looking at the player histories, though, Nitrous has had some success. Appears to be a platinum player, while Lumery has placed diamond in the past. So odds would possibly favor our Zerg from eagleview, Lumery. But it's hard to say. A lot of players try to be sneaky, try to find a way to ladder on a different account. StarCraft, of course, being free to play, very easy to just sort of create a Smurf account, do a lot of laddering on, hide your match history. For all the players out there doing the research into their opponents, there's plenty of counter moves as well. These 4 Lings getting a little bit of damage in. I will stop that mule. It's a lot of lost minerals, but the tank is rolling out. SCV is ready to repair. Gonna drive those Lings off. Speed's not even done yet. So first tank out. Looks like Nitrous deciding not to mess around with any Reaper play, going straight into some heavy mech. 2 factories completed, and all of that gas getting ramped up. Meanwhile, Zerg, third base, almost complete. Gonna look to get that macro up real heavy. Dropping those gases, appears to be ready to move into stage 2 of his plan. build army units. Interestingly enough, still hasn't actually taken the second gas in his main. You know, a potential conserving strategy, realizes that this is perhaps a little bit safer. Realizes his mistake now. Go ahead and grab him that. Yeah. Hellions and tanks continuing to roll out now. Very fortified position from Nitrous. It's going to be very hard for Luminary to break this with any kind of ling run by. Nightshade, a little bit of a safer second than a lot of maps. There's no obvious place for that Overlord to perch. Can't perv on people. It has a little bit of space here, but Luminary opting for the back. We'll see if it maybe wants to use that Overlord for some tricky Nidus play later on, or just hoping to fool the Terran into wasting a scan, wasting a Viking, to try to pick off the known Overlord position. A lot of Lings starting to pool up now for Luminary. Looks like he's about ready to make a push. As he's moving in, sees there's no third base yet for the Terran. Wonders what the Terran is up to. Is there some kind of big attack coming, some two-base timing, or if he's just attacking up and fortifying at home. Getting those upgrades, Blue Flame on the way. More and more tanks starting to pick out now. Second is saturated. Good mineral income from our Terran. Worker count starting to fall behind as usual, though. A little bit of a stronger army. Luminary opting not to build much of an army yet. Pretty much just has these Lings out on the map. But Nitrous not looking like he wants to be aggressive anytime soon. This one Ling flirting dangerously outside the range of these siege tanks. If steps forward, he's probably going to be melted. Does see the army move out though. Quite a few Hellions and 2 of the tanks. Looks like he wants to get that third established. Lings moving around, just being active on the map. No, that was a pretty spectacular explosion, if I have to say it myself. Tanks really putting in their work. Multi-kill tanks now. All the tanks doing so much damage on those balled up Lings. Starting his 4th base. Now, it's interestingly enough, this Overlord here can see everything. Does see that 4th base started. Does see the 3rd base down, so wow, that's a lot of factories. Nitrous really going for the heavy play here. Looks like he is going to go all in on 3 base, get all the mech, and just make a really beefy heavy push. We'll see where he wants to put that 4th base, but the mutas are moving in now. These tanks are so exposed. Nitrous not prepared to deal with it. One Thor comes out. That may be enough to swat them away. There may be enough mutas there to actually magic box that Thor, but they decide to just back out or reevaluate their situation. A couple of turrets going down. Not sure that they're going to be able to stop much, but it's a good use of minerals out of Nitrous. Turrets do note that Overlord, drive him back a little bit, but this Overlord still sitting here, just hanging out, seeing what's going on. Don't mind me, guys, just hanging out. Does see the CC moving away. That Overlord was selected by Luminary, so he was paying attention. Thor and the turrets are chipping away at that Mutaflog. That Mutaflog's starting to get very scary. Flyer attacks 1, almost done. Getting that extra damage out of those mutas is going to be very effective at shutting down a lot of these ground units, the tanks, the Hellions. Not a critical mass of Thors yet. But, on the other hand, what we see from our Zerg are Swarmhosts. Now, Swarmhosts aren't quite in the strong position that they were on our last patch, where they just hop in and out of Niduses and sort of troll your opponent, but they can still be a very annoying unit to deal with. able to sort of siege up on those tanks, take out those Thors. It's quite a long time between the Locusts being done, but here we have moving in these Mutas taking out 12 workers before the turrets are able to drive them back. Just chipping away, chip at that Terran, trying to keep his economy from running away. If that Terran can get all those Thors up, it could be a frightening situation. Overseer looks like he wants to get in and probably get some scouting just with that bonus speed. Thor is ready though. Is going to see Command Center just hanging out. Not really anything here to protect it. Oh, there's the PF upgrade. Overseer just going to hang out. Wait for the wheel flock to show up. And this is going to pull the boys, try to get some repairs down on that PF. Start mining. This turret's going to just deflect those Mutas. Mutas just flying around being annoying. Sensor tower is giving him a lot of vision here. Should know that Overlord is there. And there's the Nidus coming up. Looks like he wants to get some Nidus play going with those Swarm Hosts. The Swarm Host will be able to pop in, walk across here, drop those Locusts across those rocks, and then mosey on back into the Nidus, completely safe and unharmed. The mech army very out of position. It is down here at this central lower base. And these Lings ready for a run by as soon as those Locusts come out. There's the Locusts. Excellent scan by Nitrous to see the Locusts being spawned. They do aggro onto the depots and the handful of turrets there. So losing a lot of bases, but now with the workers showing up workers showing up from the PF with the run by happening. Has lost 9 workers now, but generally stabilizing. It's going to need to figure out how to deal with the Swarm Host, though. And as well, Bloomery continuing to move into the high-tech units. Broodlords morphing, as well as Vipers. Swarm Host coming out for round 2. But now is time for our mech army to act. Thors marching across the map with those Hellbats. Handful of tanks, just chipping, see what they can do. Does get one of the Swarm Hosts down. He's going to lose both those tanks, though. Mutas move in. Not the best counter to Thors, necessarily, but those Swarm Hosts are going to be able to chip away those Thors very quickly. Running out of time, though. More Thors continuing to march across the map. Just a frightening amount of mech for our Terran, but our Zerg is so far ahead on his own tech. Taking out some Broodlords, but more Broodlords coming. Broodlords very effective against those Thors. If Thors can get in range, they can chop the Broodlords down pretty quick. But those Broodlings able to aggro Thors off of them and chip. Thors fall. Back at home, just continuing to macro up as Swarm Hosts come in for yet another round. They're going to get so many SCV kills here off these Locusts. 16, 17, 20 now, as the mech army has arrived to try to defend their base. Locusts all fall, but not before 22 workers were killed there. Does shut down that Nidus, but seemingly knows where the army is now. New Nidus spawning down here at the bottom. It's just going to be able to ping pong back and forth. I'd like to almost see him use this Overlord here, just hanging out. You really punish him for giving him that much vision. Continuing to shut down that upper Nidus, but here come the Broodlords with the rest of the army. Swarm Hosts are now going to spawn. Wait for their Locusts to respawn. Wait for that mech army to show up and just be on back. This is why Swarm Hosts can be so annoying to deal with. They're so hard to kill. You have to be on top of those Nidus worms. You can't let them sort of duck in and out completely unmolested. Trying to do a lot of damage. Did take out the PF. Vipers flying in, getting the blinding clouds down. Thor's not going to be able to shoot through that. Not a good day when all your army is in the air. He is backing out though. Feels like the damage is done. Nitrous though, holding an army fly lead. Slightly behind the workers, but he'll make up for that. Very close game overall. A frightening amount of Thors now moving across the map. Another round of Locusts trying to get some more harass down, but meanwhile, not a good time to pop a Locust as the mech army is now moving, so it's now across the map and in position. Those Hellbats are going to be able to deal with all of the Broodmen on the ground while the Thors pummel everything in the air. That high impact cannons just able to take down those Broodlords in a couple of shots. Not able to get anything close. Those Hellbats providing a sort of a fire barrier to any Zerg infestation. Not good situation now for the first time. Nitrous pushing into the Zerg base. Zerg needs to defend here. Nitrous is maxed out and calls a GG. Victory for Red Hat. Taking the series back. Taking a map off of their opponent, Eagleview, and keeping the series alive. Very good back and forth map. Almost looked like Nitrous was on the back foot for a while, but able to macro up so hard at home and all those factories, so many factories, just able to pump out so many Thors and Hellions, the Hellbats, and then even though Lumery tried some cheeky play with the Swarm Hosts, just trying to got a lot of very effective damage in. Nitrous able to just fortify up, play defense until he could win the game. March across the map for a victory push. So, taking a look at chat here for a second, it sounds like our fourth player for map number 4 for Eagleview is a no-show. And under the CEA rules, Eagleview will take a loss on that. So, all of a sudden, Red Hat has gone from down 0-2 to a tie series. As Eagleview forfeits the fourth map, now 2-2. It is a ace match going to Triton. So unlike our normal matches for the CEA organization of the league here, you do submit your lineups for the first 4 games, and so everybody knows who's being played. In the event that an ace match is needed to complete the best of 5, anybody on the team can play again. So we're going to have a short break here while our teams figure out who's going to be the ace player on both teams, and we'll get that last map set up, get the lobby started, and we'll be right back. All of a sudden, the series has turned around and going for an exciting finish here. We'll be back shortly. Alright, we are back. Very quick turnaround this time. We already have our aces selected. And without further ado, our aces will be, for the Red Hatlings, our Zerg, Zip, and eagleviewSC2, the Terran Maynard. Looks like our two captains are going to be battling it out. Our two high diamonds, once again, shooting for supremacy here. In our second map on World of Sleepers, of course, Zip did fall to Maynard, but we'll see if Zip has some tricks up his sleeve. Maybe something a little different this time to shut down that cheeky BC opening. Going into our game number 5 ace match, get hyped up. This is Starcraft CEA action. Red Hatlings versus eagleviewSC2. Once again, in the upper left corner, in red, the Red Hatlings, Zip. In the lower right corner, sporting a lighter shade of blue this time, our Terran Maynard. Of course, if this feels familiar, it's because it was game number 2. The previous game on World of Sleepers, where we saw Maynard open with the BC opener, going into some mech play. A lot of Hellions, Cyclones, just beefing up the ground, while Zip had attempted to do Lings and Queens into Niduses. Wasn't able to get a lot of effective damage done, and Maynard was eventually able to sort of force his way across the map and just stop the Zerg, bled him out until he had sort of an unstoppable army. Very similar opening so far. Single gas from our Terran barracks. Probably wants to open with that Reaper Scout again, just to see ace match like this, especially when the player had lost previously. You never know when he has some sort of cheeky backup build that he might throw at you. Something a little different. Maybe he wants to do a big roach bust, or try getting some early banelings. Is everything looking so far, though? Is going to have that spawning pool done. It's going to have the gas in the bank to get speed started. Which is what's going to be seen by the Reaper as it pops out. Expansion started for Maynard. Going to be able to get that econ going. As he scouts what Zerg has incoming. So once again, you are watching CEA, Corporate Esports Association, Spring 2020 Tournament. Amateur players, professional people. These people all have real jobs. They go to work, put their 40 in every day, just like you and me. They don't play Starcraft for a living. They're just here to have fun, pretend they're pros, and hopefully win a little bit of money for their chosen charity. Seen a little bit of lag here. Just had a little bit of lag this afternoon. It's nothing to be concerned about. Reaper does get swatted back, has that Queen ready with a handful of Lings. As he ducks back to safety. He is going to have a couple of different routes to get up into the base, though. Lings watching out for that little elevator perch, on patrol back and forth there. He's going to move around, scout around. Overlord is going to see it, and he's going to have a little bit of a shock when he pops up and loses the Reaper. So for the first time, that first Reaper is shut down. Lots of Lings now flooding out with the Baneling Nest down and speed about to finish. It looks like Zip might want to take an early aggressive position, just starting to move across the map. With another 14 Lings in production, this is going to be just a really tough position for the Terran. Does get that depot up with a couple of Hellions there, but does have to evacuate the low ground. It's going to be very hard for them to break that wall, but a handful of Banelings will make quick work of that as he starts to morph them in 2 more Hellions now being built, with 1 Hellion left to defend. Is getting that Viking out desperately, hoping to get that fusion core finished so he can get the BC. Looks like Maynard was planning to do the same, opening once again, and may be ready to pay for it. The wall is now open. Banelings do their job. Lings getting the surround on the Hellions. Hellions are running around trying to aggro those Lings away. Big connection from the 2 Banelings, getting 10 workers. More Banelings wandering in. A Banshee coming out instead of a Battlecruiser doesn't have time. Those 3 Banelings setting up for a big hit. 1 goes off. A lot of low health workers. Not quite able to kill them all, but doing a ton of damage. Just so much Zerg into base right now, punishing Maynard for going with this very cheeky BC opener. Just wasn't ready, didn't have enough units, wasn't prepared for all the Zerg to come out. Maynard taking a moment to sort of consider his life choices before he taps out here. Not really an obvious route back into the game. Is dropping the mules just in case. 1 hero Banshee, gonna try to clean up all this damage by herself. Just not gonna be enough. As buildings are on fire, and there's the GG. Congratulations to Red Hat in an exciting finale between the aces. Able to close out the series with a forfeit and take the series 3-2. Very exciting game there. You can definitely tell Zip learning from his previous mistakes, knowing that his opponent was going to open with that BC opener, doing what he needed to do to punish it, getting that Ling flood in and just shutting down the Terran. Masterfully done. Congratulations to Red Hat on winning the series, and best of luck to EagleView in the remainder of the season. Of course, we will be back next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, for more CEA action. I'm not aware of a schedule being posted yet. Of course, CEA operates on a Swiss sort of style. So teams that win will go up against each other, and teams that lose will go up against, will fight among themselves. Sort of sorts itself out. Self-balancing type of organization. Sort of allows the better teams to play the better teams, and the lower tier teams to play the lower tier teams. Keeps our games even. Keeps everything fun. So, signing off now, I'm Eagle Searcher for SC Tuesdays. We'll see you back here next week, 3 p.m. Eastern. GG.